Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Dilan Shabani, and in this video I'll be showing you about how to configure VLAN and Inter-Vlan using multi-layer switch. And this is the video assignment from our directors, Mr. Dedi Gunawan. So here I'm on Cisco Packet Tracer to show you about the configuration, about VLAN, how to create VLAN, and how to connect the device between different VLAN using inter-VLAN routing. But now I'm not gonna use usual VLAN like this, but in this assignment we have to use this multi-layer switch or switch layer 3, you can say it. And here I'm adding one multi-layer switch, and first I'm gonna change the name first. For example, MLS-1. And here I'm going to use laptop as the end device, and I'm gonna use 4 laptops for this scenario. Okay, after adding the devices, now let's connect them. I'm gonna use this copper straight through cable to connect from this laptop to this multi-layer switch, and I'll do the same thing to the others. Okay, after we connect all of these devices, now I'm going to configure the switch, but in this scenario I'm going to connect this laptop to this multi-layer switch using console cable, and I'm gonna configure this switch from this laptop using serial console cable. Just click on the laptop icon, go to desktop, go to terminal, and click OK, and it will be like this. Just press N and enter. And first, now we are on this switch, and this is called user exec mode, and we don't have many things that we can do in this mode. So to go to the other mode, we need to type this command enable to get to privilege exec mode. And then to configure the switch, we need to go to global configuration mode by typing this command configure terminal and hit enter. And now the first thing to do, I'm going to change the hostname of this switch. Just type this command hostname, and for example I'm gonna use MLS-1 for this switch hostname and hit enter. Okay, now I'm going to set some passwords to secure this device. First, I'm going to keep the password for this privilege exec mode. So sometime we go to privilege exec mode, we need to put the password first. And to keep the password for privilege exec mode, just type this command, enable secret, and type your password. For example, here I'm using Cisco as my password and hit enter. And now I'm going to also give the password for user exec mode. This one is for user privilege mode, and now I'm going to give a password for a user exec mode as well by typing line console 0, enter, and type the password. For example, this I'm going to set password as using my name like this, and don't forget to type login. So whenever you log into the device, you need to enter this password. Okay, enter, then click exit, and then the next is password for virtual terminal, like remote access using SSH or telnet. For example, here I'm going to type in virtual terminal 0 till 4. It means that only 5 users that can access these devices. This device using either SSH or telnet. And type the same command, password. And here I'm gonna set it like using my name again. Login and exit. And now I'm going to test the password, whether does it work or not. Okay, now I must enter the password first before entering user exec mode. And the password for user exec mode is Zidane, like this. Enter and go to privilege exec mode, and the password is Cisco. Okay, so after setting the password, now I'm going to start configuring the VLAN. Just type this command, VLAN 10, or another ID. You can determine any ID, and for this example I'm going to use 10 as my ID, and I leave it default for the name. And then the second VLAN 20, enter and exit. And now I'm going to create the virtual interface for VLAN 10 and VLAN 20, and I'm going to set the IP address for VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. So each devices, I'm going to make these two devices as VLAN 10. And the other one as VLAN 20. Okay, for the IP address, I'm going to set for VLAN 10, 10.10.10.0/24, and for VLAN 20, just to make it easier, I'm going to set 20.20.20.0/24 as the IP address. Okay, now we go back to this switch configuration, and first I'm going to enter to interface VLAN. First is VLAN 10. Now you can see this message, and it means the interface for VLAN 10 now is up. It means now is active for interface VLAN 10, and I'm going to set the IP address 10.10.10.1, for example, and submit mask, and hit enter. And no shutdown for activating the interface, even though this interface has been activated. but just to give you some idea that we need to enter this password or this command no shutdown to activate the interface for Cisco devices. Exits, and I'll do the same thing for VLAN 20 address 20.20.20.1 and subnet mask, enter, now shut down, exit. Okay, after keeping the IP address for each virtual interface, now I'm going to uh, I can say to enlist the interface that connect to this laptop 0 and laptop 1 to make them like the member of VLAN 10. And for these two interfaces, Paste Ethernet 03 and Paste Ethernet 04, I'm going to make them as the member for VLAN 20. I can say like this, just to make it easier to understand. And first I'm going to interface configuration. You can simply uh, type this command like this to configure multiple interface. For example, I'm going to configure these two interface, Paste Ethernet 0 and Paste Ethernet 01 and 2, and to make it as access mode. And don't forget to enlist these two interfaces to be the member of VLAN 10, and hit enter. Now I'm going to do the same thing for next two interfaces, Paste Ethernet 03 and 4, and I can recall the command by using up or down arrow from my keyboard. Switch port mode access and switch port VLAN 20 like this, and hit enter. Okay, now these two interfaces has been added as VLAN 10 members, and these two interfaces also has been added as VLAN 20 member. And now we can just configure or set the IP address for each end devices. For this laptop, for VLAN 10, the network is 10.10.10, and for the host address, I'm gonna give 2. And don't forget to change the subnet mask, and also don't forget to set the default gateway so it can communicate with other devices from different network. For this one, I'm gonna keep it 3. Then for this laptop, for VLAN 20, 20.20.20.2, 255.255.255.0, and don't forget the default gateway, which is the interface VLAN 20's get IP address 20.20.20.1. Okay, after setting the IP address for all of these end devices, now let's try the connectivity. First, from the device with the same VLAN, from laptop 0 to laptop 1 is successful, and then from laptop 2 to laptop 3 it's successful as well. but we can't connect this laptop from laptop 0 to laptop 2 because these two laptops now they are on the different VLAN, which is different network, so they can't communicate with each other even though they are connecting to the same device, to only one device. But because we have configured the VLAN for these devices and these devices, that's why these two devices can't communicate with each other. And now to make them can communicate with each other, we need to configure the inter-VLAN routing. Now let's back to the switch configuration. And to do that, just simply type this command IP routing. Because now I'm using only one switch layer 3 or multi-layer switch. So this switch, it can be a switch and it can be a router as well. So this switch has the ability to do a routing, to work with IP address. It's different with the other switch, like for example, uh, this switch, it's different because it only works in layer 2 on oscillator. While this one switch or multi switch, it can work both on layer 2 and layer 3. So that's a little different about these two switches. And to activate the routing ability from this switch, we need to put this command IP routing, because by default this switch is like the original switch. It cannot work with IP address unless we activate the routing ability for this multi-layer switch by typing this command IP routing. And now because these all devices already have IP address and already have the default gateway for each devices, and we have configured the IP routing command for this multi-layer switch. Now I'm going to test the connectivity between this laptop 0 to this laptop 2 from different VLAN, and it still failed for the first time. And for the second time you can see it's successful. And let's try to the other devices. It still failed. And now it's successful. It's successful. And it's successful as well. So now all of these devices, they can communicate with each other even though they are on the different VLAN, but because we have configured the Inter-Vlan routing from this switch, now they can communicate with each other. Okay, now the last thing, don't forget to save the configuration by typing this command copy running config to startup config and hit enter. Okay, maybe that's all for me. I hope it can be useful and it can be easy to understand. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.